The most difficult people are often the ones who need the most compassion. Summary and case study of handling difficult people by Bloch. An overview and chapter summaries. The problem of handling difficult people. The main problem in handling difficult people is that they can make your life more complicated and unpleasant than it needs to be. Bloch explained that difficult people are constant presence in everyone's lives, regardless of profession or background. They are the coworker who makes your job miserable, the family member who creates constant drama, or the acquaintance whose negativity sucks the joy out of any gathering. The problem lies not only in their existence, but also in several key factors. 1. Unpredictability. Difficult people are often unpredictable in their actions and reactions, making it challenging to anticipate their behavior and prepare effective responses. 2. Resistance to change. Another key problem is that difficult people are resistant to change. They are often unaware of their negative impact on others or unwilling to modify their behavior, even when confronted. Their ingrained patterns make it difficult to reason with them or reach a compromise. 3. Emotional toll. Dealing with difficult people takes a significant emotional toll. Their negativity, manipulation, and emotional outbursts can leave you feeling drained, frustrated, and stressed. 4. Damage to relationships. Difficult people can damage relationships. Their behavior can create tension, conflict, and resentment, leading to strained or broken connections with family, friends, and colleagues. Bloch emphasized that the key to handling difficult people is not to change them, but to change your own behavior and reactions. This involves 1. Minimizing contact. One approach is to minimize contact with difficult people as much as possible. This may involve choosing less competitive work environments, strategically avoiding certain social situations, or limiting interactions with challenging family members. 2. Modifying your response. When interaction is unavoidable, the focus should shift to modifying your response to their behavior. This includes maintaining composure. Staying calm and collected in the face of their provocations can diminish their power and prevent the situation from escalating. Setting boundaries. Establishing clear boundaries and communicating your limits can protect you from emotional manipulation and prevent them from taking advantage of you. Focusing on solutions. In some cases, offering practical solutions and helping them to break down overwhelming tasks can improve the situation and minimize conflict. While Bloch provide helpful techniques for managing interactions with difficult people, they also acknowledge that complete resolution is not always possible. Some individuals are so entrenched in their negative patterns that they are unlikely to change, despite your best efforts. In these situations, accepting the reality of the situation and focusing on self-preservation becomes paramount. Bloch also highlight the importance of self-reflection. Recognizing your own potential to be difficult in others' eyes can foster greater empathy and understanding in your interactions. Ultimately, approaching difficult people with a combination of strategic avoidance, measured responses, and a healthy dose of self-awareness can empower you to navigate these challenging relationships and minimize their negative impact on your life. The solutions for handling difficult people with examples. The book Handling Difficult People by Bloch provides a guide to recognizing and managing encounters with 10 challenging personality types. While the book doesn't suggest a way to permanently change difficult people, it offers solutions to navigate interactions and minimize their negative impact on your life. The core solution presented is to change your own behavior and reactions when faced with these difficult individuals. This involves two main strategies. Minimizing encounters with difficult people. Changing how you respond to difficult people, both externally and internally. The book emphasizes that avoidance is a valid strategy in many cases. It suggests limiting contact, strategically navigating social situations, and avoiding specific topics of conversation to minimize the frequency and intensity of interactions with difficult people. When interaction is unavoidable, the book recommends a variety of techniques to modify your response, depending on the personality type you're dealing with. These techniques include 1. Maintaining composure and emotional distance. 2. Setting boundaries and communicating limits. 3. Focusing on specific issues and offering practical solutions. 4. Using humor and flattery to diffuse tension and disarm the individual. Examples of solutions. Here are 3 specific examples of solutions presented in the book, along with the corresponding personality type. 1. The big bully. Problem: a coworker consistently belittles your contributions and makes you feel intimidated. Solution: instead of reacting with fear or anger, maintain composure and project an air of confidence and indifference. Respond to their provocations with a calm demeanor, as if you are barely fazed by their attempts to intimidate you. This can disarm them and make them less likely to target you in the future. 2. The big mouth. Problem: a family member dominates every conversation, leaving you feeling unheard and frustrated. Solution: set clear boundaries and communicate your need for equal participation. You can use nonverbal cues like the timeout hand gesture, politely interject to redirect the conversation to others, or directly express your desire to contribute to the discussion. If they continue to monopolize the conversation, you can firmly but gently remind them that others would also like to share their thoughts. 3. The procrastinator. Problem: you hired someone to complete a task, but they consistently delay and make excuses, leaving the project unfinished. Solution: instead of criticizing or expressing frustration, focus on offering practical solutions and breaking down the task into smaller, manageable steps. Help them create a clear plan of action with deadlines, offering guidance and support without taking over the responsibility. This can help them overcome their fear of commitment and make progress toward completion. Here are the chapter summaries and key takeaways. Chapter 1: The Big Bully. Summary: this chapter examines the big bully personality, characterized by intimidation and a desire to exert power over others. It explores the roots of bullying and low self-esteem and fear, highlighting that bullies often feel threatened and insecure. The chapter provides techniques for avoiding big bullies by choosing less competitive environments and minimizing contact. For confrontation, it suggests maintaining a calm and unfazed demeanor to diminish the bully's sense of power. 5 real-world examples of dealing with the big bully. 1. The workplace tyrant. Problem: imagine a new employee, Sarah, joining a marketing firm. Her supervisor, Michael, consistently undermines her ideas in meetings, publicly criticizes her work, and micromanages her every task. He avoids eye contact and excludes her from social gatherings. When Sarah makes a valid point, Michael changes the subject or dismisses it with a condescending remark. Sarah feels intimidated and hesitant to contribute, impacting her performance and morale. Solution: Bloch suggests projecting confidence and indifference to disarm a bully. Sarah could practice speaking up more assertively in meetings and calmly defending her ideas. When facing criticism, she could maintain composure and respond with a neutral tone. For example, if Michael criticizes her presentation style, she could respond with, "I appreciate your feedback. I'll consider incorporating different techniques in the future." By remaining unfazed by his attempts to belittle her, Sarah might disrupt his power dynamic and discourage further bullying. 2. The family intimidator. Problem: John dreads family gatherings because of his older brother, David. David constantly boasts about his accomplishments, belittles John's career choices, and makes subtle digs at his appearance. David's wife and children often laugh along, making John feel ganged up on. John feels humiliated and avoids contact with his brother as much as possible. Solution: while complete avoidance might not be feasible in family settings, Bloch suggests minimizing contact and disengaging from conversations when confronted by a bully. John could limit his interactions with David during family gatherings, politely excusing himself from conversations that become uncomfortable. He could also focus on connecting with other family members and create a buffer zone to limit David's opportunities to target him. 3. The condescending coach. Problem: Lisa is passionate about soccer and joined an adult recreational league. However, the coach, Mark, constantly berates players for minor mistakes, singles out individuals for public humiliation, and uses sarcasm and insults as motivation. Lisa feels anxious and discouraged, affecting her enjoyment of the game. Solution: Bloch recommend confronting a bully head-on by calling out their behavior with humor and sarcasm, making them aware of their negative impact. Lisa could try responding to Mark's insults with playful sarcasm. For instance, if he yells, "Are you blind? Pass the ball." Lisa could respond with, "Oh, my apologies, coach. My vision must have been clouded by all the amazing plays happening around me." By refusing to be a victim of his bullying and highlighting his absurdity, Lisa might encourage him to reconsider his approach. 4. The cyberbully. Problem: Anna is active on social media and enjoys sharing her photography. However, she becomes the target of a cyberbully who leaves nasty comments on her posts, criticizes her skills, and encourages others to join in the harassment. Anna feels hurt and embarrassed, hesitant to share her work online. Solution: Bloch emphasize establishing boundaries and protecting yourself from emotional harm. Anna could block the cyberbully and report the harassment to the social media platform. She could also choose to limit her engagement with negative comments and focus on connecting with supportive followers. Bloch also recommends seeking support from friends and family to counteract the emotional impact of bullying. 5. The customer service nightmare. Problem: David calls his internet provider to report a technical issue. The customer service representative, Susan, is rude and dismissive, interrupts him repeatedly, and blames him for the problem without investigating. David feels frustrated and helpless, unable to resolve his issue. Solution: When dealing with a bully in a customer service context, Bloch advocate for assertively communicating your needs and seeking alternative avenues for resolution. David could firmly but politely request to speak with a supervisor. If the supervisor is also unhelpful, David could document the interaction and file a complaint with the company. He could also explore alternative internet providers and leverage his experience to advocate for better customer service practices. These examples illustrate the pervasive nature of bullying behavior in various contexts. While each situation requires a tailored approach, the core principles from Bloch remain consistent: maintain your composure, establish boundaries, and prioritize your well-being. Remember, the goal is not to change the bully, but to minimize their negative impact on your life. Key learning: standing up to a big bully, calmly and confidently, can be more effective than showing fear or anger. By understanding the bully's underlying insecurities and employing strategies to disarm them, one can navigate these challenging interactions. Chapter 2: The Big Mouth. Summary: Chapter 2 focuses on the big mouth, an individual who dominates conversations and talks incessantly, often to mask shyness and anxiety. The chapter outlines techniques for avoiding big mouths in social situations by choosing larger gatherings or activities that limit their talking opportunities. To shut down a big mouth, the author advises brief, assertive communication, setting boundaries, and expressing the need for others to be heard. Navigating the big mouth in 5 real-world scenarios. 1. The meeting monopolizer. Problem: Imagine a team meeting at a tech startup where everyone is gathered to brainstorm new marketing strategies. However, one team member, James, dominates the discussion, rambling on about irrelevant details and tangents. He interrupts colleagues who try to speak and dismisses their ideas without consideration. This leaves others feeling frustrated and unheard, hindering productive brainstorming. Solution: Bloch recommends setting clear boundaries and communicating your need for equal participation. Team members could politely interject with phrases like, "I'd like to hear what others think about this," or "Can we give everyone a chance to contribute?" If James continues to monopolize the conversation, someone could address him directly, saying, "James, we appreciate your enthusiasm, but can we make sure everyone has a chance to share their ideas?" This direct yet respectful approach might help him recognize the need to share the conversational space. 2. The family gathering chatterbox. Problem: Every holiday dinner at Emily's family's house is a challenge because of her aunt, Susan. Susan talks non-stop, recounting mundane details of her day, gossiping about neighbors, and interjecting her opinions on every topic. She barely takes a breath between sentences, leaving little room for anyone else to contribute to the conversation. Emily finds herself tuning out and dreading these gatherings. Solution: Bloch highlight the effectiveness of busying yourself elsewhere as a strategy to minimize contact with a big mouth. Emily could volunteer to help in the kitchen, assist with serving food, or engage in activities with younger family members to limit her exposure to Susan's constant chatter. Additionally, when trapped in a conversation, Emily could utilize nonverbal cues like looking at her watch or checking her phone to subtly signal her desire to disengage. 3. The airplane seatmate. Problem: Mark settles into his seat on a long flight, hoping to relax and enjoy a movie. However, his seatmate, a friendly but extremely talkative woman named Carol, immediately strikes up a conversation. She shares her life story in detail, from her childhood to her recent divorce, without pausing for breath. Mark feels trapped and unable to escape the constant barrage of words, longing for a moment of quiet. Solution: in situations where physical escape is limited, Bloch suggests utilizing distractions to minimize engagement. Mark could put on his headphones and listen to music or an audiobook to create a buffer zone and signal his desire for limited interaction. He could politely interject with brief responses to Carol's questions while prioritizing his own need for quiet time. 4. The social media oversharer. Problem: Sarah enjoys connecting with friends and family on social media. However, one friend, Jessica, constantly posts lengthy updates about every detail of her life, from her morning coffee routine to her evening workout. She tags Sarah in every post and sends multiple messages daily, overwhelming her with a constant stream of information. Sarah feels obligated to respond and keep up with Jessica's oversharing, finding it draining and time-consuming. Solution: Bloch emphasize establishing boundaries and protecting yourself from emotional exhaustion. Sarah could mute Jessica's notifications or limit the time she spends engaging with her posts. She could also directly address Jessica's oversharing with a kind but firm message, expressing her appreciation for their friendship while setting boundaries for her own online engagement. For example, Sarah could say, "Jessica, I love staying connected with you online, but I'm finding it a bit overwhelming to keep up with all your posts and messages. I'll check in when I can, but please don't feel offended if I don't respond to everything." 5. The overly helpful coworker. Problem: Dan is working on a challenging project at his new job and appreciates his coworker Lisa's willingness to help. However, Lisa's helpfulness quickly becomes overwhelming. She constantly offers unsolicited advice, interrupts Dan's workflow to share irrelevant anecdotes, and talks at length about her own experiences, distracting him from his tasks. While Dan appreciates Lisa's intentions, her big-mouth tendencies hinder his productivity and create unnecessary stress. Solution: Bloch suggests offering gentle feedback to help a big mouth recognize their impact on others. Dan could approach Lisa with a friendly but direct conversation, expressing his appreciation for her support while outlining his need for focused work time. He could say something like, "Lisa, I really appreciate you trying to help, but I tend to work best when I can concentrate without interruptions. Would it be okay if we scheduled specific times to discuss the project so I can stay focused during other parts of the day?" These examples demonstrate the diverse ways in which a big mouth can impact our personal and professional lives. While each situation requires a unique approach, the underlying principles remain consistent: set boundaries, communicate your needs clearly, and prioritize your own well-being. By applying these strategies, you can navigate interactions with big mouths more effectively, minimizing their potential to disrupt your peace and productivity. Key learning: while big mouths can be frustrating, they often lack malicious intent. By setting clear boundaries and employing direct communication, one can curtail their excessive talking and create a more balanced interaction. Chapter 3: The Brick Wall. Summary: this chapter explores the brick wall, a personality type that exhibits stubbornness, unresponsiveness, and an inability to acknowledge other perspectives. The chapter provides clues for identifying brick walls through their interactions and communication patterns. It suggests avoidance as the primary strategy for navigating this challenging personality, particularly in work settings where minimizing contact is crucial for maintaining one's position. For confrontation, the author advises a calm, fact-based approach, emphasizing brevity and a focus on the specific issue at hand. 5 real-world examples of the brick wall. 1. The uncompromising colleague. Problem: imagine a team working on a project with a tight deadline. One team member, David, insists on using an outdated software program despite his colleagues' concerns about its limitations and potential for delays. He dismisses their suggestions for alternative programs, claiming his chosen software is the only way to do it right, without providing any logical justification. David's stubborn refusal to consider other options creates tension and hinders the team's progress. Solution: Bloch suggests the importance of presenting information as a fait accompli, a done deal. Instead of engaging in a lengthy debate, the team could proceed with using the alternative program, demonstrating its effectiveness through tangible results. When David sees the positive outcomes in the team's unified approach, he might be more receptive to adapting, recognizing the benefits of the alternative program without feeling directly confronted or challenged. 2. The resistant relative. Problem: every family gathering is a source of stress for Sarah because of her uncle, Tom. Tom holds strong opinions on political and social issues, refusing to acknowledge any viewpoint that differs from his own. He dominates conversations, launching into lengthy monologues that dismiss any attempts at dialogue or debate. When challenged, Tom resorts to personal attacks, accusing others of being uninformed or biased. Sarah feels frustrated and drained by his unyielding stance and avoids engaging in meaningful conversations with him. Solution: Bloch recommend minimizing contact and avoiding sensitive topics to limit exposure to a brick wall. Sarah could limit her interactions with Tom during family gatherings, focusing on connecting with other relatives and engaging in activities that don't involve controversial topics. When forced to interact with Tom, she could employ the all I know is strategy, mirroring his stubbornness by simply repeating her own perspective without engaging in a futile debate. 3. The impenetrable customer service representative. Problem: Lisa is experiencing issues with her new smartphone and calls customer service for support. The representative, Mark, follows a rigid script, refusing to deviate from predetermined solutions despite Lisa's clear explanation of the problem. He repeatedly asks her to perform basic troubleshooting steps that she has already attempted, dismissing her observations and suggestions. Mark's inflexible approach leaves Lisa feeling unheard and frustrated, unable to resolve her issue. Solution: Bloch advise gathering irrefutable proof and presenting facts in a clear and concise manner. Lisa could document the steps she has already taken, including timestamps and error messages, before contacting customer service again. When speaking with a representative, she could calmly and assertively state the facts, referencing her documentation and highlighting the specific issue that requires attention. This approach might force the representative to acknowledge the problem's complexity and seek assistance from a supervisor or technical expert. 4. The unwavering neighbor. Problem: every weekend, Mike's next-door neighbor, Bob, hosts loud parties that extend late into the night, disrupting Mike's sleep and peace. Mike has politely approached Bob on multiple occasions, explaining the noise disturbance and requesting a compromise. However, Bob dismisses Mike's concerns, claiming he has the right to enjoy his property and refusing to adjust his behavior. Bob's unyielding stance creates tension between the neighbors and leaves Mike feeling powerless. Solution: Bloch acknowledges the challenges of confronting a brick wall and suggests seeking a spiritual victory by maintaining composure and highlighting the absurdity of their behavior. Mike could document the noise disturbances, including dates, times, and duration, to build a case for potential mediation or legal action. Additionally, when encountering Bob, Mike could calmly and repeatedly state the facts, highlighting the impact of the noise on his well-being and emphasizing the unreasonableness of Bob's refusal to compromise. While this might not result in immediate behavioral change, it could help Mike maintain his sanity and gather support from other neighbors who might be experiencing similar issues. 5. The uncompromising partner. Problem: Emily and her partner, David, are planning a vacation. Emily suggests exploring a new destination, highlighting the cultural attractions and unique experiences it offers. However, David insists on returning to the same resort they visit every year, dismissing Emily's suggestions without consideration. He refuses to engage in a discussion about alternative options, claiming his choice is the best without providing any rationale. David's unwavering stance and dismissive attitude leave Emily feeling unheard and disappointed, creating tension in their relationship. Solution: Bloch emphasized the importance of appealing to shared experiences and highlighting past instances of successful compromise to create a sense of connection with a brick wall. Emily could remind David of previous vacations where they both enjoyed exploring new places, emphasizing the shared sense of adventure and discovery. She could also express her desire for a new experience, framing it as an opportunity to create new memories together. By appealing to their shared history and emphasizing the positive aspects of compromise, Emily might encourage David to reconsider his rigid stance and engage in a more open dialogue. These scenarios illustrate the frustrating nature of dealing with a brick wall personality in various contexts. While changing their deeply ingrained behavior is unlikely, Bloch offers strategies for minimizing the negative impact on your own well-being. By focusing on clear communication, strategic avoidance, and a focus on maintaining your composure, you can navigate these challenging interactions more effectively, preserving your sanity and finding alternative paths to achieving your goals. Key learning: brick walls are difficult to engage with due to their inherent resistance to other viewpoints. Understanding their communication style and employing strategic avoidance is often the most effective approach. When confrontation is necessary, a concise, factual presentation, free of emotional reactivity, is recommended. Chapter 4: The Constant Complainer. Summary: Chapter 4 examines the constant complainer, an individual characterized by persistent negativity and a focus on life's difficulties. The author emphasizes that constant complainers are easily identifiable through their incessant negativity and tendency to downplay others' struggles. Strategies for avoiding constant complainers include limiting contact, using distractions, and sending them on trips. For coping with unavoidable encounters, the chapter suggests active listening, offering minimal feedback, and focusing on work-related matters in professional settings. 5 real-world examples of the constant complainer. Bloch described the constant complainer as a person who perpetually finds fault with everything and everyone, viewing the world through an overwhelmingly negative lens. They excel at highlighting flaws and expressing dissatisfaction, leaving a trail of pessimism in their wake. Let's explore 5 real-world examples of the constant complainer and examine potential solutions suggested by Bloch for handling such challenging individuals. 1. The pessimistic parent. Problem: imagine a family dinner where the son excitedly shares his recent promotion at work. Instead of celebrating his achievement, his mother, a constant complainer, focuses on the potential downsides, lamenting about the increased workload and stress that inevitably accompanies such advancements. She might even express concern about the impact on his personal life, predicting an imbalance that could lead to relationship issues or burnout. The son, deflated by his mother's negative outlook, feels his joy and accomplishment overshadowed by her pessimistic pronouncements. Solution: Bloch recommend a strategy of agreeing and then some, effectively mirroring and amplifying the complainer's negativity to expose its absurdity. The son could respond to his mother's concerns by humorously exaggerating them, saying something like, "You're right, Mom, this promotion is a disaster. I'll probably be working 24/7, my relationships will crumble, and I'll age prematurely from all the stress. Maybe I should just quit now before it's too late." This playful approach might make the mother realize the outlandishness of her complaints and encourage her to adopt a more balanced perspective. 2. The dissatisfied diner. Problem: a couple eagerly anticipates a romantic dinner at a new restaurant. However, the woman, a constant complainer, finds fault with every aspect of the experience. The lighting is too dim, the music is too loud, the table is too small, the service is too slow, the food is too bland, and the prices are too high. Her relentless negativity dampens the mood, transforming a special occasion into an endurance test for her partner. Solution: Bloch advise avoiding confrontation by simply listening, nodding, and offering minimal verbal affirmation. The partner could employ this strategy, allowing the woman to vent her dissatisfaction without engaging in a futile debate. After a reasonable interval, he could politely excuse himself, perhaps suggesting a change of venue for dessert or drinks, effectively removing himself from the negativity without directly challenging her behavior. 3. The negative Nancy at work. Problem: a team is brainstorming ideas for a new marketing campaign. One team member, Susan, consistently shoots down every suggestion with a barrage of complaints. The ideas are too conventional, too risky, too expensive, or too time-consuming. Her relentless negativity stifles creativity, leaving the team feeling demoralized and unproductive. Solution: Bloch emphasized the importance of focusing on work-related tasks and redirecting conversations away from personal complaints. If Susan starts complaining about non-work-related matters, her colleagues could politely interrupt her, saying something like, "Susan, your concerns are valid, but we're on a tight deadline for this project. Let's focus on brainstorming ideas for the campaign. We can discuss other matters later." This approach establishes clear boundaries and reinforces the importance of staying on task. 4. The critical couch potato. Problem: a group of friends gathers to watch a highly anticipated movie. One friend, Mark, spends the entire movie highlighting every perceived flaw. The acting is subpar, the plot is predictable, the special effects are unimpressive, and the dialogue is cheesy. His constant critiques detract from the enjoyment of the film, leaving his friends wondering why he even bothered to join them. Solution: Bloch suggests pretending to fall asleep or finding other ways to disengage from the complainer's negativity. Mark's friends could utilize this strategy, subtly tuning him out and focusing on their own enjoyment of the film. This approach minimizes the impact of his negativity without escalating the situation into a confrontation. 5. The unsatisfied spouse. Problem: a husband excitedly announces his plans to remodel the kitchen, envisioning a beautiful and functional space for their family. However, his wife, a constant complainer, immediately focuses on the potential inconveniences. The project will be too disruptive, too expensive, and take too long to complete. She expresses doubts about the chosen contractor and predicts cost overruns and delays. Her negativity extinguishes the husband's enthusiasm, leaving him questioning the entire endeavor. Solution: Bloch recommend taking action without seeking the complainer's input or approval. Instead of engaging in a debate about the kitchen remodel, the husband could simply proceed with the project, making decisions and arrangements without involving his wife. This approach minimizes the opportunity for her negativity to derail his plans and allows him to focus on achieving his goal. These scenarios highlight the draining and demoralizing impact of interacting with a constant complainer across various social settings. While their negativity might stem from deeply ingrained personality traits or unresolved personal issues, Bloch offers practical strategies for minimizing the impact on your own well-being. By responding to their complaints strategically, setting clear boundaries, and focusing on positive actions, you can navigate these challenging interactions without succumbing to their negativity. Key learning: constant complainers thrive on negativity and often resist attempts at positivity. The most effective approach involves minimizing personal engagement with their complaints, while offering practical solutions and setting clear boundaries. Chapter 5: The Drama Queen. Summary: this chapter focuses on the drama queen, an individual who thrives on attention and magnifies personal problems into dramatic events. The author describes their charismatic nature and skill at captivating audiences, which can initially be appealing. However, their need for constant attention and tendency to create crises can become exhausting. To avoid drama queens, the chapter suggests being cautious of individuals with a star quality who often inspire extreme reactions in others. For managing existing relationships with drama queens, the author advises providing praise for their everyday accomplishments, appealing to their humor, and gently guiding them toward honest communication about their needs. 5 real-world examples of the drama queen. 1. The overwhelmed office worker. Problem: Sarah, an office worker, consistently bombards her colleagues with tales of personal woes. A minor fender bender becomes a near-death experience. A forgotten lunch morphs into a day-ruined tragedy. A delayed email transforms into a career-ending catastrophe. Sarah's constant pronouncements of doom and gloom, delivered with theatrical flair, drain the energy of her coworkers and create an atmosphere of anxiety and tension. Solution: Bloch suggests acknowledging the drama queen's feelings while gently guiding them toward a more realistic perspective. A colleague could respond to Sarah's dramatic pronouncements with a blend of empathy and humor, saying something like, "Wow, Sarah, that sounds incredibly stressful. It's like something straight out of a soap opera. But hey, at least you're okay, and we can all laugh about it later, right?" This approach validates Sarah's feelings without feeding into the drama. 2. The attention-seeking athlete. Problem: Michael, a talented athlete, thrives on being the center of attention. A minor sprain becomes a season-ending injury. A missed shot transforms into a soul-crushing defeat. A critical comment from a coach triggers an emotional meltdown. Michael's exaggerated reactions to setbacks, often accompanied by public displays of despair or anger, exhaust his teammates and coaches, diverting focus from the team's goals. Solution: Bloch recommend praising the drama queen for moments of normalcy and self-control. A coach could acknowledge Michael's positive contributions, saying something like, "Michael, I appreciate your focus and composure during today's practice. You demonstrated great sportsmanship and leadership, and that's what makes a true champion." By highlighting Michael's positive attributes, the coach reinforces desired behaviors and encourages him to seek validation through genuine achievements rather than manufactured drama. 3. The catastrophizing college student. Problem: Emily, a college student, approaches every academic challenge with a sense of impending doom. A challenging assignment becomes an impossible hurdle. A missed deadline transforms into academic ruin. A critical remark from a professor triggers a tearful breakdown. Emily's exaggerated responses to academic stressors, often accompanied by panicked phone calls to friends and family, create unnecessary anxiety and hinder her ability to focus on her studies. Solution: Bloch advised gently challenging the drama queen's distorted perceptions and guiding them toward practical solutions. A friend could respond to Emily's dramatic pronouncements with a blend of understanding and practicality, saying something like, "Emily, I know this feels overwhelming, but let's break it down step by step. We can create a study schedule, reach out to the professor for clarification, and even visit the tutoring center for extra support. You've got this." This approach helps Emily shift from a state of panic to a more proactive and solution-oriented mindset. 4. The melodramatic mother. Problem: Jessica, a stay-at-home mother, thrives on turning everyday parenting challenges into epic sagas. A spilled juice box becomes a household disaster. A playground squabble transforms into a social catastrophe. A minor illness triggers a frantic rush to the emergency room. Jessica's exaggerated responses to common parenting occurrences, often accompanied by tearful phone calls to her partner and social media posts detailing her ordeal, exhaust her support network and create unnecessary stress for herself and her family. Solution: Bloch emphasized the importance of setting boundaries and refusing to engage in the drama queen's emotional roller coaster. A partner could respond to Jessica's dramatic pronouncements with a calm and measured approach, saying something like, "Jessica, I understand you're feeling overwhelmed, but let's take a deep breath and assess the situation. Is this a true emergency, or can we handle it calmly and rationally? Remember, our children learn from our reactions, so let's model resilience and problem-solving skills." This approach sets a limit on the drama and encourages Jessica to adopt a more balanced approach to parenting challenges. 5. The theatrical friend. Problem: David, a charismatic friend, possesses a knack for turning social gatherings into dramatic performances. A forgotten birthday becomes a friendship-ending betrayal. A differing opinion triggers a passionate monologue about his victimization. A minor inconvenience transforms into a personal affront. David's theatrical displays of emotion, often accompanied by accusations and pronouncements of injustice, exhaust his friends and leave them feeling emotionally drained and wary of his unpredictable outbursts. Solution: Bloch recommend confronting the drama queen's behavior directly and setting clear boundaries. A friend could address David's theatrical displays with honesty and assertiveness, saying something like, "David, I value our friendship, but your constant drama is exhausting. I'm not willing to participate in your emotional roller coaster. If you want to have a healthy relationship, you need to learn to communicate your feelings calmly and respectfully, and accept that not everything revolves around you. This approach establishes clear expectations and encourages David to take responsibility for his behavior. These scenarios showcase the impact of the drama queen personality across various life domains. While their theatrics might initially appear amusing or endearing, the constant need for attention and the tendency to magnify minor setbacks into major crises can strain relationships and create unnecessary tension. By responding strategically, setting boundaries, and encouraging a more grounded perspective, we can navigate interactions with drama queens without becoming entangled in their web of exaggerated emotions. Key learning: while drama queens can be entertaining and engaging, their need for constant attention can be draining. By praising their genuine efforts, encouraging self-awareness, and setting boundaries, one can manage their dramatic tendencies and maintain a healthier dynamic. Chapter 6: The Know-It-All. Summary: this chapter explores the know-it-all personality, characterized by an unyielding belief in their own correctness and a need to dominate conversations. The author provides various clues for identifying know-it-alls, including their tendency to lecture, their defensiveness in disagreements, and their unsolicited advice-giving. To avoid know-it-alls, the chapter suggests minimizing contact in both professional and personal settings, particularly when engaging in potentially contentious topics. For coping with unavoidable encounters, the author advises phrasing statements as questions, offering flattery, and encouraging the know-it-all to apply their knowledge constructively. 5 real-world examples of the know-it-all. 1. The pedantic professor. Problem: Dr. Smith, a university professor, approaches every lecture and discussion with an air of absolute authority. He interrupts students mid-sentence to correct minor factual errors, dismisses alternative viewpoints with a wave of his hand, and monopolizes class time with lengthy pronouncements on his own research and theories. Dr. Smith's relentless need to showcase his intellectual superiority creates a stifling classroom environment, discouraging student participation and hindering genuine intellectual exploration. Solution: Bloch suggests framing disagreements as questions rather than direct challenges to the know-it-all's perceived expertise. A student could respond to Dr. Smith's pronouncements with a curious and inquisitive tone, saying something like, "Dr. Smith, that's a fascinating perspective. I recently came across a study that suggested a slightly different interpretation. Could you help me understand how those two viewpoints might reconcile?" This approach allows the student to introduce alternative information without directly contradicting the professor, potentially creating space for a more balanced discussion. 2. The opinionated office manager. Problem: Mark, an office manager, dominates every meeting and decision-making process with his unwavering opinions. He dismisses colleagues' suggestions as impractical or ill-informed, insists on implementing his own ideas even when met with resistance, and micromanages every detail to ensure it aligns with his vision. Mark's relentless need to control every aspect of the workplace creates a tense and demoralizing environment, stifling creativity and innovation. Solution: Bloch recommends strategically flattering the know-it-all to soften their resistance and create a more collaborative atmosphere. A colleague could preface their suggestion with a statement acknowledging Mark's expertise, saying something like, "Mark, I really appreciate your insights on this project. You clearly have a deep understanding of the challenges involved. Building on your expertise, I was wondering if we could consider this additional angle." This approach subtly positions the colleague's idea as an extension of Mark's knowledge, potentially making him more receptive to the suggestion. 3. The dogmatic dinner guest. Problem: Aunt Susan, a frequent dinner guest, possesses an encyclopedic knowledge of history, politics, and current events, which she readily dispenses with an air of absolute certainty. She corrects factual errors with a pedantic tone, dismisses alternative viewpoints as uninformed or naive, and launches into lengthy lectures on her preferred topics, regardless of the interests or conversational flow of the group. Aunt Susan's relentless need to showcase her intellectual prowess transforms every social gathering into a one-sided lecture, leaving other guests feeling intellectually inferior and socially awkward. Solution: Bloch advised steering clear of topics that trigger the know-it-all's tendency to lecture and dominate the conversation. Family members could subtly shift the discussion away from Aunt Susan's areas of expertise, focusing on lighter topics like personal anecdotes, shared memories, or upcoming events. This approach allows for a more relaxed and enjoyable social interaction, minimizing the likelihood of triggering Aunt Susan's need to correct and inform. 4. The condescending coach. Problem: Coach Johnson, a youth soccer coach, approaches every practice and game with a rigid adherence to his own coaching philosophy. He criticizes players for deviating from his prescribed techniques, dismisses parents' suggestions as interference, and berates referees for any perceived slight against his team. Coach Johnson's relentless need to control every aspect of the game creates a tense and demoralizing environment for the young athletes, hindering their development and enjoyment of the sport. Solution: Bloch recommend appealing to the know-it-all's sense of purpose and encouraging them to channel their knowledge into constructive mentorship. A parent could approach Coach Johnson with a sincere desire to learn from his experience, saying something like, "Coach Johnson, I admire your passion for the game and your dedication to teaching these young players. I'm eager to understand your coaching philosophy and how I can best support my child's development." This approach acknowledges Coach Johnson's expertise while potentially opening him up to a more collaborative and supportive approach to coaching. 5. The inflexible in-law. Problem: Tom, a recently acquired in-law, possesses strong opinions on everything from child-rearing practices to home decor choices. He offers unsolicited advice with an air of authority, criticizes family traditions that differ from his own upbringing, and insists on doing things his way when helping with household tasks. Tom's relentless need to impose his own values and preferences creates tension and resentment within the family, straining relationships and undermining a sense of unity. Solution: Bloch suggests setting boundaries and politely but firmly asserting one's own preferences and decisions. A family member could respond to Tom's unsolicited advice with a respectful but assertive tone, saying something like, "Tom, we appreciate your input, but we've decided to approach this situation differently. We value your support, but we also need you to respect our choices." This approach establishes a clear boundary while maintaining a cordial relationship, hopefully encouraging Tom to recognize and respect the family's autonomy. These examples demonstrate the far-reaching impact of the know-it-all personality in various real-world settings. While their vast knowledge and strong opinions might appear impressive at first glance, their inability to acknowledge alternative perspectives and their persistent need to correct and control others can damage relationships and create unnecessary conflict. By understanding their motivations, setting boundaries, and employing strategic communication techniques, we can navigate interactions with know-it-alls and minimize the negative impact of their behavior. Key learning: know-it-alls are driven by a deep-seated fear of being wrong, making them highly resistant to alternative perspectives. Using questions instead of statements, employing flattery strategically, and appealing to their desire to be helpful can facilitate a more manageable interaction. Chapter 7: The Procrastinator. Summary: This chapter examines the procrastinator, an individual who consistently delays tasks and struggles with completion. The author outlines various clues for identifying procrastinators, including their unfinished projects, excuses, and tendency to blame others for their delays. While avoidance is recommended in professional settings, the chapter emphasizes encouragement and support in personal relationships, focusing on practical solutions and breaking tasks into manageable steps. 5 real-world examples of the procrastinator. 1. The overwhelmed college student. Problem: Sarah, a college student juggling a demanding course load, a part-time job, and extracurricular activities, struggles to keep up with her academic responsibilities. She postpones assignments until the last minute, pulls all-nighters to cram for exams, and submits rushed work that fails to reflect her true abilities. Sarah's procrastination stems from feeling overwhelmed by the sheer volume of tasks and her inability to effectively manage her time. Solution: Bloch suggests helping procrastinators break down overwhelming tasks into smaller, manageable steps. A friend could assist Sarah in creating a realistic study schedule, setting specific deadlines for each stage of an assignment. By focusing on completing one step at a time, Sarah can reduce her anxiety and gradually make progress toward her academic goals. 2. The stalled startup entrepreneur. Problem: David, a passionate entrepreneur with a groundbreaking business idea, struggles to launch his startup. He delays crucial tasks like market research, product development, and fundraising, preferring to spend his time on less essential activities like networking and brainstorming. David's procrastination stems from a fear of failure and a perfectionist tendency to overanalyze every detail before taking action. Solution: Bloch recommend providing procrastinators with gentle encouragement and subtle direction, focusing on the task at hand rather than their character flaws. A mentor could help David prioritize his tasks, establish a realistic timeline for his startup launch, and hold him accountable for meeting key milestones. By providing support and guidance, the mentor can help David overcome his procrastination and transform his vision into reality. 3. The disorganized homeowner. Problem: Emily, a homeowner with a busy family life, struggles to maintain order and cleanliness in her home. She postpones household chores like laundry, dishes, and yard work, allowing clutter to accumulate and creating a chaotic living environment. Emily's procrastination stems from feeling overwhelmed by the never-ending demands of home maintenance and her difficulty in prioritizing tasks. Solution: Bloch advise helping procrastinators see how getting the job done need not be an ordeal by breaking it down into small steps. A family member could assist Emily in creating a chore chart, assigning specific responsibilities to each member of the household and establishing a routine for completing tasks. By establishing a system and sharing the workload, Emily can reduce her sense of burden and create a more harmonious home environment. 4. The indecisive job seeker. Problem: Michael, a talented professional seeking a career change, struggles to take concrete steps toward finding a new job. He delays updating his resume, networking with contacts, and applying for positions, preferring to spend his time researching different industries and companies. Michael's procrastination stems from his indecisiveness and fear of making the wrong career choice. Solution: Bloch emphasized the importance of gentle encouragement and the establishment of a clear action plan when assisting procrastinators. A career counselor could work with Michael to identify his skills and interests, develop a targeted job search strategy, and set deadlines for completing specific tasks like sending out applications and scheduling interviews. By providing structure and accountability, the counselor can help Michael overcome his procrastination and land a fulfilling new position. 5. The avoidant artist. Problem: Lisa, a gifted artist with a passion for painting, struggles to complete her artwork. She starts numerous pieces but abandons them before finishing, leaving a trail of unfinished canvases in her studio. Lisa's procrastination stems from her perfectionist tendencies and fear of criticism, leading her to avoid completing work that might not meet her own high standards. Solution: Bloch highlight the need to reassure procrastinators that they don't have to be perfect to earn respect and affection. A supportive friend could encourage Lisa to focus on the process of creating art rather than the final product, emphasizing the importance of experimentation and self-expression. By reframing her perspective on artistic success, Lisa can overcome her procrastination and rediscover the joy of creating art without the paralyzing fear of judgment. These examples illustrate how procrastination can manifest in different areas of life, hindering personal growth, professional success, and interpersonal relationships. By understanding the underlying motivations of procrastinators and implementing supportive strategies, we can help them overcome their avoidance tendencies, achieve their goals, and live more fulfilling lives. Key learning: procrastinators often feel overwhelmed and struggle with organization. By providing practical assistance, breaking tasks down, and offering positive reinforcement, one can help them overcome their tendency to delay and achieve a sense of accomplishment. Chapter 8: The Snooty Snob. Summary: this chapter focuses on the snooty snob, an individual who exudes an air of superiority and strives to appear better than others, often to mask insecurities. The author provides tips for identifying snooty snobs through their aloof behavior, name-dropping, and disdain for the ordinary. While avoidance is suggested in casual settings, the chapter encourages reaching out to snooty snobs in personal and professional relationships, appealing to their intelligence and offering opportunities for genuine connection through shared experiences. 5 real-world examples of the snooty snob. 1. The condescending connoisseur. Problem: Richard, a self-proclaimed wine aficionado, consistently belittles his friends' taste and beverages. When dining out, he monopolizes the sommelier's attention, peppering them with technical questions and making a show of selecting the most expensive bottle on the list. He then criticizes his companions' choices, remarking that their selections lack complexity and finesse. Richard's snobbish behavior creates an uncomfortable atmosphere, making his friends feel self-conscious and embarrassed about their preferences. Solution: Bloch suggests responding to snooty snobs with a mix of friendly engagement and gentle pushback. A friend could acknowledge Richard's expertise while asserting their own right to enjoy their chosen wine. They might playfully respond with, "Well, I appreciate a good, uncomplicated glass of wine now and then. It lets me focus on the company and conversation." This approach allows for both appreciation of Richard's knowledge and a firm but light-hearted rejection of his condescending attitude. 2. The haughty socialite. Problem: Victoria, a wealthy socialite, attends charity galas and art openings with an air of detachment and disdain. She avoids mingling with the common folk, preferring to spend her time with a select group of equally affluent individuals. She dismisses conversations about everyday life as mundane, focusing solely on topics related to high culture, fashion, and her exclusive social circle. Victoria's snobbish behavior isolates her from genuine connections and perpetuates a sense of elitism that alienates those outside her perceived social stratum. Solution: Bloch recommends trying to guide snooty snobs into more down-to-earth activities and interactions. A friend could invite Victoria to a casual gathering with a diverse group of people, focusing on shared interests and genuine conversation. They might also introduce her to simple pleasures like enjoying a picnic in the park or volunteering for a local charity. By exposing her to a wider range of experiences and individuals, Victoria may begin to appreciate the value of human connection beyond superficial social hierarchies. 3. The arrogant academic. Problem: Professor Smith, a renowned scholar in his field, treats his students with an air of intellectual superiority. He dismisses their questions as naive, interrupts their presentations with condescending remarks, and uses overly complex language to emphasize his vast knowledge. Professor Smith's snobbish behavior creates a hostile learning environment, discouraging students from participating actively in class and seeking his guidance. Solution: Bloch suggests appealing to the snooty snob's desire to be helpful and admired. A student could approach Professor Smith during office hours and genuinely express their admiration for his expertise while also seeking clarification on specific concepts they find challenging. They might say, "I'm truly impressed by your depth of knowledge, Professor Smith, but I'm struggling to grasp this particular theory. Could you explain it in a way that's easier for me to understand?" By combining flattery with a genuine request for assistance, the student may elicit a more approachable and helpful response from the professor. 4. The name-dropping fashionista. Problem: Sophia, a fashion-conscious influencer, constantly boasts about her designer wardrobe, exclusive event invitations, and friendships with industry insiders. She peppers her conversations with name-dropping, emphasizing her association with high-profile individuals and brands. Sophia's snobbish behavior alienates her followers, who perceive her as superficial and obsessed with status. Solution: Bloch highlight the importance of addressing snobbish behavior directly and setting boundaries. A friend could gently confront Sophia, expressing how her constant name-dropping comes across as insincere and detracts from her genuine talents and personality. They might say, "Sophia, you have a great eye for style, but I feel like you're always trying to impress us with your connections. It makes it hard to relate to you on a deeper level." By expressing their honest feelings, the friend encourages Sophia to reflect on her behavior and cultivate more authentic connections based on shared interests and mutual respect. 5. The disdainful foodie. Problem: Mark, a self-proclaimed foodie, scoffs at any restaurant that doesn't boast a Michelin star or feature exotic ingredients. He criticizes his friends for their plebeian palates, refusing to join them for casual meals at diners or pizza joints. Mark's snobbish behavior limits his social life and prevents him from enjoying the simple pleasures of sharing a meal with friends. Solution: Bloch recommend appealing to the snooty snob's sense of adventure and curiosity. A friend could challenge Mark to try a hidden gem known for its delicious, albeit unpretentious, cuisine. They might say, "Mark, I know you're a fan of fine dining, but I think you'd be surprised by this little hole in the wall. It's not fancy, but the food is amazing." By introducing him to a new experience that challenges his preconceived notions, Mark may discover that culinary enjoyment extends beyond Michelin stars and exotic ingredients. These real-world examples showcase the various ways snooty snobs can alienate others and hinder meaningful connections. By understanding the underlying insecurities driving their behavior and implementing strategies that blend assertiveness, humor, and genuine engagement, we can navigate these interactions more effectively and even encourage a more down-to-earth perspective in the snooty snobs we encounter. Key learning: snooty snobs often use their superior facade to hide feelings of inadequacy. By understanding their underlying insecurities and treating them with kindness and genuineness, one can break through their defenses and foster a more authentic connection. Chapter 9: The Temper Tantrum Type. Summary: This chapter explores the temper tantrum type, an individual who resorts to emotional outbursts and dramatic displays to get their way. The author outlines their identifying characteristics, including a history of unstable relationships, frequent justifications for their behavior, and an inability to acknowledge their anger issues. Avoidance is highly recommended for casual encounters, and caution is advised in professional and social settings. For managing existing relationships with temper tantrum types, the author recommends setting firm boundaries, offering practical solutions, and emphasizing self-reliance in problem-solving. 5 real-world examples of the temper tantrum type. 1. The enraged employee. Problem: Brenda, an administrative assistant, works in a fast-paced office environment. When her boss asks her to stay late to complete a time-sensitive task, Brenda throws a fit. She slams her desk drawers, yells about being overworked and underappreciated, and storms out of the office. Brenda's outburst creates a disruptive and uncomfortable atmosphere for her colleagues and puts her job at risk. Solution: Bloch suggests remaining calm and addressing the situation in a practical manner. Brenda's boss could wait until she has calmed down and then address her concerns in a private setting. The boss could acknowledge her frustration while firmly stating the importance of completing the task and emphasizing the need for professional behavior in the workplace. If Brenda's outbursts continue, the boss may need to involve HR and consider disciplinary action. 2. The furious friend. Problem: Michael and his friend David are planning a weekend trip. When David suggests a hiking trip, Michael, who prefers relaxing vacations, explodes with anger. He accuses David of being inconsiderate, throws insults, and threatens to cancel the entire trip. Michael's tantrum puts a strain on their friendship and jeopardizes their plans. Solution: Bloch advise remaining firm and refusing to give in to the tantrum. David could stand his ground and calmly express his desire to go hiking while acknowledging Michael's preference for a different type of vacation. He could suggest compromising with a shorter hike or exploring other activities in the area. If Michael continues his outburst, David could leave the situation and give him time to cool off. 3. The irate customer. Problem: Sarah, a retail worker, is assisting a customer who is unhappy with a purchase. When Sarah explains the store's return policy, the customer throws a tantrum. He yells at Sarah, demands to speak to the manager, and threatens to write a negative online review. The customer's behavior disrupts the store, frightens other customers, and puts Sarah in an uncomfortable and stressful situation. Solution: Bloch suggests remaining calm and offering practical solutions. Sarah could try to de-escalate the situation by remaining calm and politely repeating the store's return policy. She could offer to help the customer find a similar product or suggest alternative solutions. If the customer's behavior becomes threatening or abusive, Sarah could call for security or involve the manager. 4. The outraged parent. Problem: a parent-teacher conference is underway to discuss a child's academic performance. When the teacher mentions areas where the child needs improvement, the parent throws a tantrum. She accuses the teacher of being unfair, dismissive of her child's efforts, and threatens to pull her child out of the school. The parent's outburst disrupts the meeting, creates a hostile environment, and prevents a constructive discussion about the child's needs. Solution: Bloch recommend firmly addressing the tantrum and redirecting the conversation to practical solutions. The teacher could calmly acknowledge the parent's concerns while reiterating the need to focus on the child's academic progress. The teacher could offer specific strategies for improvement and suggest working together to support the child's learning. If the parent's behavior continues to be disruptive, the teacher could suggest scheduling another meeting when emotions have settled or involve the school principal. 5. The livid romantic partner. Problem: Jessica and her partner, Alex, are having dinner at a restaurant. When Jessica's phone rings and she takes a brief work call, Alex explodes with anger. He accuses her of ignoring him, storms out of the restaurant, and refuses to answer her calls. Alex's tantrum creates a scene, humiliates Jessica, and damages their relationship. Solution: Bloch advised setting boundaries and refusing to tolerate abusive behavior. Jessica could wait for Alex to calm down and then address the situation. She could express her hurt feelings and firmly state that his behavior is unacceptable. She could suggest couples counseling to work on their communication and conflict resolution skills. If Alex refuses to take responsibility for his actions or continues his pattern of tantrums, Jessica may need to consider ending the relationship. These real-world examples illustrate how temper tantrum types can disrupt various aspects of life, causing harm to relationships, work environments, and social interactions. By understanding their manipulative tendencies and responding with a calm and assertive approach, we can minimize the impact of their outbursts and encourage them to adopt healthier communication patterns. Key learning: temper tantrum types often lack healthy coping mechanisms for their emotions. By establishing clear boundaries, refusing to reward their outbursts, and encouraging them to take responsibility for their actions, one can minimize the disruption caused by their behavior and potentially encourage personal growth. Chapter 10: The Two-Face. Summary: this chapter examines the two-face, an individual who manipulates situations and people by playing both sides and feigning loyalty to gain personal advantage. The author provides clues for identifying two-faces through their excessive agreeableness, gossiping tendencies, and attempts to elicit confidential information. Setting clear boundaries, avoiding gossip, and limiting personal disclosures are recommended strategies for navigating interactions with two-faces. 5 real-world examples of the two-face. 1. The office gossip. Problem: imagine a workplace where tensions are running high due to an upcoming promotion. Two colleagues, Sarah and Mark, are both vying for the position. Enter the two-face, let's call him Tom. Tom tells Sarah he thinks she's the most qualified and deserves the promotion. Later, he tells Mark the same thing, adding fuel to the already competitive fire. Tom's actions, driven by his desire to be liked by both parties, exacerbate the tension and create distrust between Sarah and Mark. Solution: Bloch recommends setting boundaries and refusing to engage in gossip. If Sarah or Mark realize what Tom is doing, they could confront him directly, stating their discomfort with his behavior and their refusal to participate in office politics. Alternatively, they could limit their interactions with Tom and avoid sharing sensitive information with him. 2. The friend who plays both sides. Problem: two friends, Emily and Jessica, have a falling out over a personal matter. A mutual friend, let's call her Lisa, who exhibits two-faced tendencies, tries to stay on good terms with both. She listens to Emily's grievances and expresses sympathy, then does the same with Jessica, agreeing with both sides without taking a stand. Lisa's actions, while intended to avoid conflict, ultimately prolong the tension and prevent any resolution. Solution: Bloch suggests making it clear to the two-face that disagreement is acceptable in a friendship. Emily or Jessica could explain to Lisa that they value honesty and prefer her to express her own opinions even if they differ from theirs. They could emphasize that true friendship can withstand differences of opinion. 3. The family member who sows discord. Problem: a family gathering is taking place to celebrate a special occasion. However, there's underlying tension between two siblings, David and Michael, due to a long-standing disagreement. Their cousin, the Two-Face, let's call her Rachel, whispers to David, criticizing Michael's behavior. She then does the same to Michael, criticizing David. Rachel's actions, fueled by her need to be in the know and stir up drama, intensify the conflict and disrupt the family harmony. Solution: Bloch recommend limiting contact and avoiding sensitive topics with the Two-Face. David and Michael could recognize Rachel's pattern of behavior and agree to avoid engaging in conversations with her that involve the other sibling. They could focus on enjoying the family gathering and limit their interactions with Rachel to superficial topics. 4. The politician who tells everyone what they want to hear. Problem: a politician is campaigning for office. To garner support, they tell different groups of voters what they believe those groups want to hear, even if those positions contradict each other. This two-faced behavior, motivated by their desire to win the election, erodes public trust and makes it difficult for voters to discern their true stance on issues. Solution: Bloch don't offer specific solutions for this scenario, but informed voters could recognize this behavior and demand transparency. Voters could hold the politician accountable by asking specific questions about their positions and scrutinizing their past actions and statements. 5. The romantic partner who can't be honest. Problem: imagine a couple, Jake and Maria. Jake discovers Maria has been spending time with an ex-boyfriend. When confronted, Maria downplays the situation, assuring Jake it's purely platonic. Later, she tells her friend that she still has feelings for her ex. Maria's two-faced behavior, driven by her fear of losing Jake and her inability to be honest about her feelings, creates distrust and jeopardizes the relationship. Solution: Bloch recommends setting clear boundaries and expectations in the relationship. Jake could express his need for honesty and fidelity. He could explain that while he understands the complexities of her past relationships, he needs to be able to trust her words and actions. If Maria is unable or unwilling to commit to honesty, Jake may need to reconsider the relationship. These examples highlight how the two-faced personality can create problems in a wide range of contexts. Their actions, while often driven by insecurity and fear, can lead to distrust, conflict, and damaged relationships. By recognizing their patterns of behavior, setting boundaries, and encouraging honesty, we can mitigate the negative impact of their actions. Key learning: two-faces thrive on creating conflict and manipulating others for their own benefit. By recognizing their manipulative tactics, establishing firm boundaries, and refusing to engage in their gossip, one can protect themselves from their machinations. The book concludes with a reminder to approach difficult people with empathy and understanding, acknowledging that everyone has flaws and can be challenging at times. It emphasizes the importance of recognizing one's own potential to be difficult in others' eyes and encourages self-reflection and forgiveness in navigating interpersonal relationships. Thank you for listening. I hope this content is useful to you. If you like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel to support our team.